Hi, everybody, and welcome to a Tuesday program that I wasn't sure I was doing, but under the circumstances, yesterday being a holiday, I decided to jump in and talk about a few things that are on my mind. I hope that uh, I hope I set this thing up. I did this kind of in a big furry hurry, uh, so I hope that if anybody wants to click on in and get into the studio, that they can. If there isn't a link up, let me know, and I will do whatever I can to make it so. I think I have done it correctly, though, this time, by God. I'm not getting that old that fast. Uh, this could be a quick show because there's only two things that are on my mind. One are the Cleveland Guardians. Every fan who was in that stadium deserved a refund. And I am not saying that a person paying for a ticket is contingent upon the outcome of the game, but there's a point at which you disrespect the fan base, you disrespect the game. If this was Francona's way of saying, this is the final straw, I'm done, and I'm going to go out with a bang, that's fine. Let him do what he has to do, I suppose. But give the people a break. The people are the ones supporting this. The goddamn owners sure as hell are not supporting this in any meaningful way. For all the people who are trying to stuff rhetoric up our ass on Cleveland.com, how Lucas Giolito is going to be a hidden weapon for the Guardians. Oh, he's a weapon, all right. He's a weapon of mass destruction of the Cleveland organization. Look, the last, 7 games that he's pitched in, he has an 8.50 earned run average, and the guy's washed. He's done. He's finished. All of the good years are behind him. And this is a guy, and I'm going to spell this out real simply, because if the organization was so desperate to take a flyer on this guy, and knowing what they saw, his 92-mile-an-hour fastball doesn't have enough movement to get people out. He gets to 2 strikes, they keep fouling the ball off. They keep fouling it off. They keep fouling it off. And they're just sitting, waiting for the changeup. And he's up in the zone with the changeup, and it leaves the ballpark faster than it approached home plate. Giolito is finished. I've seen pitchers who were finished, and what happens is if they don't have great movement on their pitches, then the loss of speed on the ball makes a big difference. The other thing is command. Giolito had no command of his fastball whatsoever. And he's so sure that he can't get people out on it. He was throwing it a foot to 15 inches high in the strike zone where nobody would swing at it. Or he would bounce it in the dirt or whatever. This is a guy who can't sneak anything by anyone anymore. He doesn't have a rising action on his fastball. He doesn't have a run on his fastball. He doesn't have anything. It's just straight as an arrow. And it isn't very hard to sit back and wait for a changeup when he just throws meatballs over the heart of the plate. So that's the first thing. Congratulations to the organization. You pay nothing, you get nothing. If you haven't figured it out in business yet, in today's business world especially, we're not dealing with a build a better mousetrap culture. We're dealing with who has more capital to work with and who can just hang in there longer than somebody else can. The Guardians' ownership is a day late and many dollars short. They need to sell the baseball team. They can't afford to continue owning in a game which has transcended their ability to pay for it. You get something for nothing, that's exactly what you get. But the refund, in my mind, should have been granted when they put David Fry into the goddamn game for 4 innings. I'm reading a headline, And this is right off of Cleveland.com. And this is a quote, from Terry Francona about David Fry. He sucked up a bunch of innings for us. He sure did. At what point, when you're throwing batting practice fastballs down the middle of the plate, why would you be surprised that a guy would hit a 458-foot home run? This was home run derby pitching. Why are people paying for this? That is slower than a little league player, although the little league player was true is not, not 60 feet from the plate. He's 45? But it doesn't matter. 57 miles an hour. And he's a hero today because he preserved the bullpen. And I'm saying, what fucking bullpen? We don't have one of those either. And you know why? Their arms are blown out. You want to know why? Because their starting pitching can't go deeper than 5 innings. If Logan Allen has a decent outing, by the time he gets into the 5th inning, he's close to 100 pitches. As good as Tanner Bybee has been, the same is true with him. With the exception of 1 or 2 games, his pitch count is well into the 90s by the 5th inning. That means you got to have 4 innings of relief help. And we don't have that kind of help. I don't understand why the big surprise. Oh, he's a hero. What's he a hero for? So Eli Morgan couldn't come in and give it up? We handed the ball to Giolito in a game that allegedly we had to win. Now, we don't have to win anything because we're not going to win anything. The team is not good. But the effort of management to suck money out of a public that is still willing to support this and is really pissing me off reading this stuff on Twitter. Really pissing me off. There are people on there, they're not bad people. They're just trying to be fans. But why? And they will attack me if I say I don't understand what it is you're cheering for, because there's nothing to get excited about. They go, yeah, and you're a Browns fan? But you see, the Browns have good players. Nick Chubb is a great player. Deshaun Watson is a great player. Their offensive line, Batonio, is a great player. Conklin, when he's healthy, is a really good player. Amari Cooper is a really, really good player. Other than Ramirez, who? What single fucking player on this roster can claim to be a bona fide, anywhere near their prime Major League Baseball player? And I see no evidence in any of them. Jimenez, I don't see it from him. He's 240 hitter this year. And he's arrogant in the field, and I don't think these guys really give a flying fuck whether they're winning or losing. I think the team, the ownership, lost him a month ago when they gave up. Those fans should not have to sit watching a little league pitcher pitch 4 innings and a team give up 20 runs. 7 runs he gave up in 4 innings. As if a 13-run give up wasn't enough, we had to give them more. It makes me sick. Give them their money back. Or give them a coupon to get in free the next time because there's plenty of empty seats. Good God. Make it stop. That's what I wanted to say about that. That's all I have to say about the Cleveland Guardians. Next, if I hear one more fucking thing about the University of Colorado and Deion Sanders, I am going to really get pissed off. When is one victory? Oh, no one expected it to happen. They were 1-11 last year. And I'm seeing people on my timeline saying, If Stefanski doesn't get it together, we should bring Deion Sanders in. It's like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Did you see his press conference? Arrogant cocksucker. You know, you haven't been doing this long enough. Press guy asks him a question, and he says, well, you were writing stuff about me before. Do you believe? Do you believe? And the press guy just continues asking his question. He goes, do you believe? And there's no answer. He goes, well, there's no more questions for you. Next. He's trumping. One fucking win. Oh, they're number 22 in the country now. It makes for a great story. Pride goeth before the fall. Anybody who knows anything, you get a longer look at something, and it ain't so hard to figure out. Yes, they came out against the TCU team, which interestingly enough was a number 17 team in the preseason. Everyone knew that the Horned Frogs had taken a plunge. Now we know. And they're no longer anywhere in the top 25. All right. Beating TCU is no big deal. For Colorado, beating anybody is a big deal, I suppose. But the fact that they were technically ranked number 17, which was horseshit to begin with, it was predicated on something that was in the past and not anything that was happening in the present. Colorado still gave up 42 points. How many times are they going to be able to score 45 points if they gave up 42 to a TCU team that's nose cone diving? Teams are going to watch film. They're going to see what Deion Sanders and his team are doing. And they're going to figure it out, and they're going to attack them. And Colorado will not have a big winning season. And by being mouthy, arrogant, a show-off, an attention grabber, by using an all-black school to promote himself so he could get up to Colorado, is pathetic enough. I'm sick of this guy. That's all he ever did in his professional career. And now he's a leg short of 2 wheels. I'm sick of the guy. Shut up. Do your fucking job. Wait till the end of the year. Don't declare yourself a savior after one game. Please make it stop. I am cheering for every team against, not Colorado. Those kids, I want them to do as well as they can do. But I really would like to see a little bit of humility. I would like to see Deion Sanders humbled. Because the fact of the matter is, the best coaches don't do this act. They don't need to. And I understand he wants to build up the recruits that would come to Colorado. I understand that. But you don't treat people badly after one victory and claim, everyone should be a believer now. And if you're not a believer, then, that sounds like the Reverend Jim Jones. Drink the fucking Kool-Aid. Go ahead, drink it. You believe in me? You came all the way down here. What the fuck? Drink the Kool-Aid. That's what I have to say about that. Now, we're on a short week here. And we got the football game coming up. The Browns, the Bengals. And before I even get into any of this stuff, I want to get out of my mouth what I got to get out of my mouth because I don't have that much time. There is a way for the Browns to beat the Bengals. All right? And it isn't really that complicated. You take a look at where the weakness of a team is, and you attack that weakness. But in the case of the Browns, the way that you get to that weakness is through your running game. And I know people are going to say, well, we got Deshaun Watson, we should be passing the ball. Wrong again. You've got to be able to manhandle them at the line of scrimmage. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. And I hope I'm not freezing because I'm getting this damn error up here on my screen again that my signal is weak, and my signal should not be weak. So I'm sorry. Let me know in the chat room if I'm freezing up or anything like that, because I haven't seen this do this for a while, but this is what Spectrum has been doing in our area, and people are leaving Spectrum left and right. All right. So let me know if you're seeing this okay. Here. Wow. All right. So I guess I have an answer to my question. My apologies. I'm going to continue talking because that's my job. The easiest thing to do is to go out and say, oh, we're going to crank it up and let Deshaun Watson throw. And that's all well and good. But it's not going to work. Your running game is where you have to hurt them. And the reason you got to hurt them that way is because their weakness is in their secondary, their safeties. Thanks, David. I appreciate it. Hey, Mr. Leb, how you doing? Here's a high school buddy of mine. Yeah, he did. He crafted a game plan and took a team that was on a downward spiral by surprise. But the question is, can they continue doing it? That's the question. You don't get all excited about yourself after one victory. No, this is on my end, David. He's saying maybe it's the gym I'm at. Oh no. I mean, this thing is another Spectrum issue. I'm quite certain, and everybody's getting tired of having issues with them. The safeties that they lost, Jesse Bates, they lost another guy too. They have young safeties. So why won't you throw at them, Mr. Moohead? Why will you need to run the ball? Because if you handle them at the line of scrimmage, two things happen. One, I'm freezing again. This is going to ruin this podcast. Thank you. Thank you very much to my friends at Spectrum. God. The reason that you do what you have to do, which is to run the football at them, and now Buff Gaming is going to catch my drift here. The thing that's frightening to all Browns fans is the fact that, oh man, Denzel Ward is still suffering in protocol, concussion. And we don't have anybody as good as him to cover Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase could. There's something really wrong with my internet here. Oh, good. I'm glad there's no freezing on your end, Buff Gaming, because there sure as hell is on my end doing the program. So here's the trick. You slow down the game, fewer possessions for the Bengals, fewer opportunities for Joe Burrow to cash in. But the other thing that's important is a way to make big plays. What happens when you run the football? If Nick Chubb and if Jerome Ford plays, if these two guys can get into the secondary, I don't mean just like 4 or 5 yard gains, but I mean if you open up holes for these guys and they get through the secondary, they're going to have to, as the game gets shortened, the game's going to be closer. They have to desperately stop you. They're going to bring their safeties in closer to the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I'm sorry, Yuri-san. Yeah, this is technology. Oh, I don't. At least as long as you're hearing what I'm saying, you don't need to be looking at my ugly mug anyway. Got to bring your safeties in to put extra men at the line of scrimmage. Then, aha! You've got Amari Cooper. You've got Donovan Peoples-Jones. You've got Elijah Moore. That's how you make the big play down the field with no safety help. Isolate those damn secondary guys of the Bengals one-on-one with your receivers and let them break into the open field. Donovan Peoples-Jones has made big plays against the Bengals in years past. So twofold. Yes, it makes the game closer, which worries a lot of Browns fans because we don't have a proven kicker. But if you're worried about Jamar Chase, the smartest thing to do is to make sure that they get fewer possessions. Also, if you can stop their running game, which is the number 2 part of this, if you stop their running game, they have a quarterback coming back from a calf injury. How mobile is he? And that's an important thing. If he has to wait for Jamar Chase to get down the field, is he going to have time to throw? And how escapable will he be? You've got to shut down the Bengals running game and force him into throwing 45 to 50 passes in this game. There's always a chance you can get something picked off. You can strip him. I don't want to see Joe Burrow. I don't want to see him hurt. He's already maybe a little hurt. But I want to see him pressured. And I do want to see him sacked. Because that is going to make plays with StreamYard per se. I think it's Spectrum. There's no damn good reason why this is happening. While I'm doing this, I'm going to just right now do something. I'm going to go over and do a speed test. All right. And this is from at a Spectrum. And this should allow me to do a speed test. And I'll show you what I mean. This is ridiculous. We're talking about 800, 900 download and an upload of 38 to 40. I don't know what's going on here, but there shouldn't be a deficient signal. And if it is StreamYard, then, how in the hell am I going to tell them anything anyway? So, once again, force them to pass the ball, negative plays, possibility of turnovers. The problem with the Browns in the past is they cannot stop the run. We've invested more heavily in our defensive line. That's going to be very important. So, Denzel Ward being on the field or not being on the field doesn't affect this game one iota if the Browns are able to do what they need to do on the offensive side, which is out muscle, out strength, and out conceive conceptually as far as their offense, what the Bengals are prepared to go after and stop. It really is football 101, but sometimes I get mad at Stefanski because he goes so conservative. But, you got to get the running game going. If they can't stop that, you have a huge weapon in Deshaun Watson, and you have huge weapon in Amari Cooper, and you have good weapons in DPJ and Elijah Moore. It gives you an opportunity to strike. And those inexperienced safeties, and we know it because we've lived it in Cleveland over and over again. When they make mistakes, they ain't nothing but grass behind them, baby. And that's what I want to see. I want to see them to acknowledge that they can't stop the run, that they have to bring more up in the box. And I want to see those safeties make the kind of mistakes that our guys in years past have made. So Denzel Ward is still, last I heard, still in concussion protocol. I haven't heard anything about today's practice whatsoever. Have heard that Burrow looked pretty good in his practice yesterday, but we all knew he would play anyway. Nothing surprising there. And the only way you want to beat Cincinnati is with him out there. We've done it 4 times. There's no damn reason why we can't do it again. But there I don't think we can count on, by the way, because he has literally had so many concussions already. Uh, David, yeah, yeah. When safeties make mistakes, you know, I saw that so many times last year. It made me sick. Guys just running to cover the wrong guy, and the guy being literally 15 yards behind everyone else. That happened a number of times last year. I want to see it happen to the other team for a change. It would be nice. DPJ is looking forward to having a fast start. He's done well against the Bengals in the past, even when they've been able to stop him. Uh, uh, as far as pass yardage, he done damage with punt returns against the Cincinnati Bengals. So he has had an 81-yard reception game against them, a 114-yard reception in Deshaun Watson's second game as a starter last year. We'll see if they can build on that. I think it's real important that we develop that chemistry between quarterback and receiver. Let's see. Ken is asking, how many concussions does he have left? And this is his fourth one. Is that what we were saying? And the thing that scares me is he doesn't recover from them quickly. He's prone, and you bet it is, Yuri-san. You bet it is. Headaches, but more significantly, encephalopathy, brain damage, concussive brain damage that you see in fighters, that same kind of pugilistic dementia that we were talking about Jerry Quarry a couple weeks ago on the show. Football players suffering from encephalopathy left and right. So you're asking me for I think it's when he hangs it up and says, I'm through. I got a life and I'm not willing to give it for this. I understand what you're saying, Ken. But if you're playing football, you're gonna get concussion. And it's a scary, scary thing. If it were me and I were him, say it's four too many already. Rodney McLeod's name is coming up because he is a backup defensive secondary guy because Denzel Ward is still in protocol. He would get in the game or not. And of course, Stefanski isn't going to show his hand. But McLeod is supposedly a bright player who understands the scheme, who can read things at the line of scrimmage, might be a helpful guy. And come on, Mark. The guy from Northwestern. Why am I blanking? I'm getting old, folks. But those are your two cornerbacks right now. And I don't know. In a nickel situation, you might see McLeod in the game. Who knows what you might see? But so I don't expect to see a lot of McLeod except in must pass situations. Let's see what Buff Gaming is saying. Multiple concussions throughout the year is boxing and while on deployments. He may feel okay now, but it seems like in my 30s is when I started feeling the impact of them. Yeah. I mean, and it is something. Uh, it's they thought that headgear helped in boxing, and it made it even more concussive. It's helmets make the game more concussive, and all that bullshit about look at the new helmet we've invented. It's all bullshit. Putting foam padding in something, it's not like a fucking memory foam bed. You know, your brain is being rattled inside of its. So I would hope. And then this, you've got Terry Pluto saying, is it fair for Browns fans to expect fireworks from Deshaun Watson? I could make the obvious cheap joke and talk about the massage sessions that he had and the fire. Expect one player to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. I expect effort from our defensive line and our offensive line to manhandle them. The Bengals are not the Ravens, and they're not the Steelers. There is no genius. Sometimes it just comes down to the trenches, man. And we lose those battles in years past. We've got to win. Absolutely, Keith. I mean, literally, what a concussion is your brain being moved in your head and slamming into the other side of your skull. It's really scary stuff. I don't expect fireworks. What I want to see is Deshaun Watson take advantage of the opportunities that he's given. And if the running game is working, you take shots downfield. I don't want to see this 6 yards down and out bullshit to a second string tight end. If we're just manhandling them at the line of scrimmage and running the football and really eating up clock, I want to catch one of those guys sleeping. And we got enough speed in Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore and DPJ to get that done. If Deshaun Watson can find one guy broken away from the field, if you're controlling the game with the run, every touchdown you score is like 2 touchdowns. And I can't emphasize that enough. That's the looking at some of the things that are going on around Burrow returning to practice. I mean, there was no video that was released of him, but the word is that he sounds fine, and I would believe, but they haven't accomplished anything yet as far as getting further down the road. And I don't think that Zach Taylor can get the job done. And, he's playing cutesy. Well, I don't know. He's doing pretty good. Joe Burrow's going to play. Shut the fuck up. We know he's going to play because you can't beat us with whatever's behind him, and he's going to play. That's why you got to chase him out of the pocket, run him down, and sack his sorry ass a bunch of times. Gotta make sure that the second team guy gets out on the field too. That's another reason. And I want to see, it's all this, well, is Myles Garrett going to be one of them? I don't give a fuck about Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett cares about Myles Garrett. I care about what is going to give us the best opportunity to put pressure on a quarterback who's coming off a leg injury. That's all that's important to me. And that should be relatively simple stuff. You've invested in the interior line. Those guys will beat their men. And if they want to chip Myles Garrett, fine. Then get beaten inside. It's a shorter path route to the quarterback. And if he tries to run around the ends, well, that's when Myles Garrett's going to be out there waiting for him too. That's how you get the job done. So, just looking around, Joseph Asai is another guy who has been hurt for the Bengals, but the news looks like, they're getting healthy at the right time. And I want to beat them healthy. I really do. I think that we can stand up to these players and we can play them a tough football game. The win and lose part of it, that you never know about. But I want us to be physical. I want to see that Jim Schwartz defense, and I want to see us manhandling those folks. That's the important part of the whole thing. Oh, my goodness. Do I have anything else to share with you today? Because I think I've been angry and mean enough. The Chiefs' Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee. Bad time for that. And Andy Reid is just kind of saying, well, I'm not sure what this means. The next guy steps in and we roll, Reid said, on how the game plan might change without Kelce. That's what you do if he doesn't play. If he hyperextended a knee, that's going to be a real interesting thing. Odell on the Ravens. Can't believe it. Yeah, well, I believe it. He's a cancer. Let them have him. God almighty. Hey, big lurker, how you doing? You're coming and I'm getting ready to go. That's just kind of the way it works. I'm just trying to find one more story. And again, right here on Browns Wire online on USA Today, this is a headline, and I'm just seeing this for the first time. Let's see if I can get this to actually come up. I'm having more than enough problems with my my internet, but it's saying Denzel Ward must consider retirement. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. And yeah, well, yeah. He said on X, said this afternoon, Terry Francona, that it's time. Yeah, it was time last night. That was pathetic. Just lay down for the Twins. Let them fuck you in the ass. This is an opinion piece on Browns Wire, but it's saying the same things that we have. Too many concussions. So, again, you can take that for what it's worth. There was one other thing that I thought this was an interesting article, that the biggest potential flaws for every team. So I wanted to go and find the Cincinnati Bengals. What are they saying that the Cincinnati Bengals' greatest single weakness is? And sure enough, they're saying the same thing I'm saying, the safeties. There's going to be a big play open downfield. You connect on the big play or more than one big play, you win this football game. And I know the Browns have not historically been a big play team, but they could be. They could be on Sunday if they do the right things. And I don't mean try to run past people. I mean run over them. All right, everybody. It's time for me to get the hell out of here. I appreciate those people who took the time to show up. I'm very sorry about internet issues that I'm having, and I'm not sure why this is happening, but I'm going to report it again to StreamYard because this was happening for a while, that it stopped, and now it's starting again. So I have no good idea. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this edition of Moohead Radio. Now, so that you know what's coming up, Friday, there will be a show, and that'll be the pregame show. And, of course, Sunday we'll have a halftime show and a postgame show. This is the real football season, folks, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Thanks a lot for showing up, and I'll see you again on Friday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.